Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Blue Monday podcast. The words club legend are bandied around at times. However, I am delighted to welcome English footballer's youngest ever top flight goal scorer. I am delighted to welcome a player who finds himself ninth in the list of highest ever appearance makers for Ipswich Town and who also finds himself in the top 10 goal scorers of all time for Ipswich Town. Welcome, Hall of Famer and, spoiler alert, title winner, Mr. Jason Dozzell. Jason, many thanks for coming, that you responded pretty much instantaneously to say that you'd love to do it. Very kind of you to agree to have the chat.
No problem, mate. No problem.
So exciting times at the moment. Certainly for yourself, you've joined forces with Kieran and Terry Butcher and going to start working with the under 23s. Can you give us a little bit of inside info about what's going on there?
Yeah, at the moment, there's a few changes going on down there. I think I'm still working with the under 18s, but I think it was going to be between the four of us, me, Ard, Terry Butcher and Kieran, we're going to oversee the 18s and 23s. Because, over the course of the we'll be mixing it about a bit, so everybody gets to know the players and everybody gets on, you know.
And having that involvement of people who know the club inside out, that's invaluable. Yeah.
Oh, Terry Butcher, yeah, what a legend. You call me a legend, but you know, there's another word higher. Then Terry Butcher is in that category. I mean, I grew up watching Terry Butcher and the 81 side, so I was truly blessed as a kid to have seen that group. So yes, it's great. And Kieran, obviously, great career internationally as well. So yeah, it's great. It's great for the football club, and it's great for the kids as well.
Brilliant, wonderful. Well, before we get to the real reason why we're here, how pleasing is it to see Andre given the opportunity to play regularly and see he's clearly revelling in doing so. He hasn't missed a minute of league football yet, has he?
No, that's football though. You know, I mean, he made his debut at 16, and his career hadn't got going. Injuries and not being picked. So, you know, this year when he's had the baby, now he's playing every week. So he's in a really good place at the moment. So yeah, long may it continue.
Brilliant. Does he appreciate what you achieved as a player and with Ipswich, or is he like, you know, everyone else's sons and daughters are like, yeah, all right, Dad, whatever, mate, you know?
No. He tapped into my career. Obviously, you know, we have a great relationship. You know, I just want to, you know, if there's any kind of pressure put on him, this is my role to take that pressure off. Yeah. I think he has felt pressure, especially making his debut at 16 and being my son.
Having the surname, yeah.
Yeah, and then having the injuries, so there was a lot put on him. So he's had a lot to take on. But finally, you know, he's playing every minute, and as long as he's happy, I'm happy. So
yeah,
you know, he should have had more appearances, but you know, like I said to him, you have to go through these times to enjoy the good times. So he's really enjoying it at the moment, and you know, top of the league. So yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah, well, he's taking his chance, isn't he? And the team pretty much revolves around him at the moment, doesn't he? You know, he's the fulcrum of everything that we do.
Yeah, it's all about trust. I mean, Andre, you know, me personally, you know, I'm not biased, but I like people. But if I see a good midfield player, he has to be passing forward. You know, might lose it a few times, but for me, a good midfield player is someone who can pass forward. You know, he might not be great at the other bits, which a Cole Scouse or a Flynn Downs can do, but he's actually getting better on it. I mean, the more games he's playing, the better he'll be at it. He'll get fitter, and I think it's showing in his performances at the moment.
100%. What I say, going on about Andre on the call with yourself, but what I like is that whenever I see him playing, it's difficult at the moment because we can only see it from one camera.
Yeah.
You know, we see the ball. Yeah. But when he passes the ball, I trust him that he's made the right decision. If it goes backwards, so be it. But I know that the reason why he's going backwards is he can't.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, 100%. Well, another reason why, you know, the good players make the game look easy. It's a simple, get the basics right. A simple pass is effective. The best pass for your team, I say.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he can play quickly and forward, which, you know, being a midfield player myself, that's how I would judge. Obviously, he's got to get better with the other side of the game.
That'll come, won't it?
And then there'll be times when he's overrun in midfield because obviously he's just played in now and the two ahead of him. So, during the season, I'm sure maybe a Flynn Downs will come in or Scott Cluse to play alongside him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As it gets tougher. We're top of the league at the moment, but there's some really hard games coming up. So, So all good at the moment, and it's like I said, long may it continue.
Brilliant stuff. Wonderful. Now, I was too young for the team of the late 70s and early 80s, and I obviously loved the Burley teams of the 90s and the playoff winning team. But the reason why we're having a chat is to talk about what was my favourite season as a Town fan, and I'm sure it's the favourite season of many other Town fans of my vintage.
Yeah, definitely.
The often forgotten about 91-92 league winning season. I say that I was 15, 16 at the time, and it was right in my sweet spot. So I had a scrapbook.
Yeah.
I must have taken the Jason Dozzell photo off the front of it, but I'm sure it was there at one point. But it was a season full of memorable matches, memorable goals, momentum that took us to title winners, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And before we get to the nitty gritty of the season, John Lyle, you'd had Bobby Ferguson, who gave you your debut. You'd had John Duncan, and now John Lyle.
Yes.
What were Ferguson and Duncan like as managers?
I would have a bad word to Bobby Ferguson. Obviously, I made my debut when I was at 16. Bobby Robson signed me as a schoolboy, but as I went into the building, he got the England job, so Bobby took over. But I was already making appearances for Ipswich while I was still at school, obviously, which everyone knows. Like I said, my first games were in the 70s when I used to sneak in the back door at Portman Road. So I only lived 800 yards from the ground. So I used to go there every day. And I think my first game was West Brom at home. I think they won 7-1, something like that. I don't think you remember that. Goals are flying everywhere, Kevin Beattie. So I was pretty much mesmerised by that time. And then obviously I was going to watch Ipswich building up to before my debut. So obviously I went to the FA Cup final at 11 with my mate. One of the best days of my life. And then, after that, I was just supporting going home and away with my brother. And just mesmerised. So come 15, it just came out of the blue, really. I was playing and I could have signed for West Ham for John Lyle.
Oh, really?
At 13, they came in first. So I was training there. So, but on the last day, when I was going to sign for West Ham, loads of scouts turned up at my doorstep, and there was nearly a fight. I think Luton were in the top division; they were there, but Ipswich coming in the last moment. I nearly wouldn't have been there if I wouldn't have come in at the last moment because I was already at West Ham. So, to sign for Ipswich, your hometown club, but then it just got better and better. Then I started making under 16 level and under 18 level. I only played a couple of games and I had one reserve game and then I was in. Bobby picked me. So, still not thinking, I got called into the squad. I had a day off school, which was great. And then on the Thursday, I knew I was going to be in the squad on the Saturday, but then they only used to have one subs in them day.
Yeah.
So I got to the ground Saturday morning. They said I was sub. So, the rest is history. But yeah, I mean, he was like a father figure to me. I could do no wrong. I mean, it was well known. He used to bring me chocolates and that for my birthday in front of all the lads. It was pretty embarrassing, but he absolutely loved me. And then John Lyle came. His first words were to me, "I got you at last," because he remembered when I was at West Ham at 14. So two great managers, and one's the door was always open to go and speak to if I had a problem.
Well, it's funny, actually, because I've got some quotes here, and this is from at the end of the season we're talking about. Your quote here, it's one of the papers, is, "I was going nowhere, and Ipswich were going nowhere. Then John Lyle arrived. The first Monday, he called me into his office and said he wanted me to stay and to build around the likes of me." Now, what does that make you feel like as a 22, 23-year-old?
Yeah, I mean, I'd made my debut at 16. Obviously, I made a load of appearances by the time I was 20. And there was a lot of interest in me when I was young, but there was no way I was going. I was going to give it a few more years. And then obviously John Lyle. To be honest with you, the John Duncan era. After that, I loved John. But he wasn't everyone's favourite cup of tea. with the style of football and that. But I actually liked him because he was another one. All the managers I had at Ipswich actually liked me,
Yeah.
So I didn't have a problem with that, but I did understand the fans' frustration and how it was going. So John came in, and still we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, I think the first. Did we go up in his first year?
So, well, he won up in his second year because I think we'll go back later on. But in his first year, he basically didn't have any money, and we just signed Steve Whitten in the January.
Yeah, right.
And finished 14th, I think it was.
Yeah, I've got it now. So yeah, I mean, the beginning of the season starts. I mean, I think our first game we played in front of 8,000. So there was still that little bit of negative arena to play in at Ipswich at the time. But then we just bought into how we wanted to play. Everyone there was no superstars in the team. We just had a rock, and we could play different ways. We could go long, and we could mix it. And
what was his coaching style? What was John Lyall's coaching style? Did he do much of the coaching, or did he leave it to his coaches to do the coaching?
It was one of them. Mick McGibbon done the training, but as soon as John Lyall came out, or if you see him watching from the window, it's one of them. You just step up your training. He was just one of them. It just had that aura about him.
Yeah.
And that, you want to play for him, and you want to run through brick walls for him.
He'd had nearly 800 games at West Ham, hadn't he? He'd been there for years. That was back then. No managers were at clubs for 10, 15 years. He was one of those, wasn't he? He's part of the furniture there.
He always brought young kids through, homegrown.
Yeah.
The style of football, which we weren't, like I said, we could play a lot of different ways. We could have Neil Thompson picking up at left back, hitting Steve Whitten on a diagonal because Neil Thompson had the range to do it. Steve Whitten, 6'3", right winger, and then we will go from there. It was effective, but we could also play, and we could also mix it. So, with them ingredients, you got a chance of going up.
You're saying about the atmosphere and the crowd at the beginning of the season and stuff. As you rightly say, there was hardly anyone there. This is going to the promotion season. But what was the team's expectations? You'd finished 14th the year before.
No expectations. No expectations at all. I mean, how can you go from 14th to winning the league by 5 or 6 points?
Yeah.
But we just wanted to run through a brick wall for John. He had that, like I said, had that presence, and we all bought into his ideas. You see, the training was hard. He knew we had a group of players. He couldn't play the West Ham way, total football, because we wouldn't be able to do it. So we had to mix it a bit. The training was quite intense, and but enjoyable at the same time. And like I said, you got to Christmas. I think that was a defining moment. Around Christmas, New Year, we won every game and went top.
Yeah.
And then
we started. Go on.
The momentum from that was incredible. Ipswich got a huge following. If they're winning, doesn't matter what league. It doesn't matter what league they're in. If Ipswich are winning, they will get full houses. If they was in Division 2 and top of the league, they will get a full house. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because they like to see something at the end of the season, which 20 odd years ago they was getting.
Yeah.
So it feels like the Ipswich fans have been pretty much starved at that time of anything good. So get to Christmas, they could see something here. And
you're right in that it was the UEFA Cup and the FA Cup were in recent memory back then, weren't they? It was only 10 years previously.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
So it was still in the mind, fresh in the mind of some people.
Yeah,
and they'd seen a hell of a dip between times, hadn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, that's the cycle of football. It's gonna be like that. So we come out of New Year, and then we just went on an unbelievable run. And I mean, the fans, like you said, were like the 12th man for us. I mean, there were thousands going away every week. Thousands going away, and that I'm telling you that pulled us over the line in some games.
Yeah,
I think I remember the 2-0 when we was home at Newcastle. I remember that game. We ended up winning 3-2. The crowd were responsible for that to happen. I mean, they was incredible.
Well, because we started off well, so I'm going to just take you back to August because we We drew the first match 3-3. We were 3-0 up. You scored the first goal of the season.
Yeah.
We were 3-0 up and ended up drawing 3-3. I think Craig Forrest may have saved a penalty as well, so we sort of got through that one by the skin of our teeth. But after that, we beat Borough, we beat Blackburn, who'd been spending a lot of money. But we started off like a house of cards. We scored 9 goals in 4 matches. We were top of the league at the end of the month, and then we sort of met a chap called Glenn Hoddle playing for Swindon. He played sweeper for Swindon at home against us.
We got battered, didn't we?
4-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I remember that game. Yeah, he was he was just pinging balls left, right, everywhere, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He strolled through that match, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yes. And then September, 3 things happened. We sold Brian Gale for quite a lot of money, nearly £1 million back then, which was a hell of a lot of money, certainly for a centre half. Tony Humes breaks his arm, and John walks into the building and signs, because he wasn't. Was he training with us or anything previously, or did you just appear out of the blue?
I think
because he hadn't got a club.
He hadn't got a club.
No.
He must have trained. Must have trained with us and then gone from there. That's a bit like when I came back from Tottenham. I didn't have a club. I trained with Ipswich for a bit, and then I got signed. So I think it was a situation like that. But John Walker and David Linnigan. Yeah. I mean, obviously John Walker gets the credit he rightly deserves because of his reputation and what he's done for the football club. But David Linnigan, for me, was a great leader and a great captain.
Well, I was going to talk about him a bit later on, but we'll talk about it now because even though he was captain of the club and captain of the team which won the league, I don't think I've ever heard him speak. What sort of captain was he? What sort of guy was he? Presumably he was a very hard guy.
Aggressive, very aggressive. Yeah, hard as nails. Every training session, even on a Friday, he would be going through you. He just couldn't hold back. He's just one of them guys. But great to have on your team because it will get you going.
Yeah.
If we're not playing so well, every team needs a spark. If we're not playing well, it could be a bit of skill, could be a tackle, and a lot of the times we'd be under pressure, and he would come up with a tackle. You go, Jesus, do you know what I mean? We need to up our game because this guy's doing it. We need to step up. It might be me, would be a piece of skill, but with David Linnigan, it would be a tackle.
Yeah.
Which lifts us and gets us going. And if anyone wasn't pulling their weight, he would let you know.
Was he much of a ranter and a raver in changing room and things like that? Headbutting walls?
He had to. Yeah. We had to, but we had such a great chemistry in that team. We all went out. Obviously, there's a bit of a drinking culture in them days. David Linnigan was, he liked to drink at the best of times, but we all went out socially, all together, and that's where we bonded.
Yeah,
we bonded, and it just clicked. Everybody knew their roles in the team. The players weren't as gifted as some of them, but the tackling and the hard work, it just rubbed off on people, And it was just a season which wasn't entailed to do much, ended up being an absolute feast for the fans because the expectation wasn't there at the start. Okay. And then the fans just came back in their droves. I mean, it was incredible when we used to travel away. The amount of fans we used to take.
Yeah, the tail end of that season wasn't it?
But that is Ipswich. They have a huge following.
So you say about Linnigan. Another player I want to talk about is people. We brought in Walk, but we brought in Paul Goddard over the summer as well. Yes. But we also had Romeo Zondervan, who was already in the club as well. So those 3 players are sort of our senior 32, 33-year-old players in that team. What did Goddard bring and what did Romeo? Because you played a lot of football with Romeo Zondervan.
Romeo Zondervan was a great footballer. Brilliant footballer. Underrated. Very hard to shake off the ball. Never give it away. I love playing with Romeo. We used to sit. I mean, if I went forward, he would sit, and it was vice versa. But it was normally we went forward and he gets on the ball. And, we just built up a relationship. That's football. You've got to build up relationships all over the park. The front 2, the midfield 2, and then it just comes telepathic in what you're doing. Paul Goddard was the link. he was a hold-up player. Maybe set back to a midfield player and then hit Chris Kiwomya through on goal. He was the link. He wasn't going to run behind, but his hold-up play was absolutely exceptional.
Yeah.
And he got a few goals for us, but that's the key. The relationships and the chemistry was right all over the pitch. And he was a great foil for bringing defenders out, leaving gaps in behind for Chris to run into, and that was perfect for us.
But he was another old West Ham player, wasn't he? There was him. He was obviously played for West Ham. Steve Whitten played a lot for West Ham, didn't he? As well, that's where he played a few games. So obviously John Lowell knew these players. He knew the way they played already. And I think Paul Goddard had a bit of a dodgy time at Millwall and was sort of down on his luck a little bit. And we sort of revitalised him in that respect.
Yeah, definitely.
Now he got injured in October, Paul Goddard, and you moved up front, and you played up front for a fair few months, didn't you? During the middle of that season.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I got a lot of goals.
Did you enjoy playing up front? You had a bit of a link up with Chris.
Yeah. I mean, just great. I mean, I was, a bit like Paul. I wasn't going to run in behind. I was going to link the play, get in little pockets, and try and feed Chris. But I ended up scoring a few goals. I mean, I think I got 7 in a week at one stage. I got two, and 6. Oh, 3 twos.
Yeah,
I remember him well. So yeah, I was enjoying it, but I do prefer midfield, to be honest with you. I mean, goals are great, but I like to get involved in the build-up more than actually scoring. But it was great.
But it did click, though, didn't it? It did click with you and Chris. For those middle months of the season, as you say, we're scoring a lot of goals. Yeah,
like I said, it's all about building relationships, over the pitch. And me and Chris, again, I know what he was going to do. He knew as soon as I got it, he's going to start running.
Yeah.
And that was the key.
You say about there's a squad and there being no real superstars because as you moved up front, then we had people like Steve Palmer, bit of a. Don't wish to sound disrespectful, bit of a workhorse in the middle who just run up and down all day just to cover.
We needed it. Yeah, we needed him. We needed him at the time when the going got tough. Say like you're going to Oldham away on a Tuesday night, freezing cold. You need these kind of players, Yeah. So everyone played their part. I mean, he played quite a few games, Steve Palmer.
Yeah,
I remember. He more than played his part.
So we say that Romeo won Player of the Month in September. The guy that won Player of the Month in October. Now, I did 3 A-levels, so this was around about the time I was starting my A-levels. I had 3 A-levels. I had 3 A4 ring binders. I had a Jason Dozzell, I had a Chris Kiwomya, and I had a Steve Whitten. And I could happily spend half an hour talking about Steve Whitten. He was my little man crush of the time.
Oh my God, yeah.
Now, in terms of unsung members of the squad, we're talking about Steve Whitten. He's talking about Steve Palmer, but people like, and you've already mentioned Steve Whitten, Neil Thompson, and these guys were very integral to the way that we played, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Neil Thompson can kick the ball 100 yards, no problem. Steve Whitten is a 6'4" right winger. Now, you normally don't get that many tall fullbacks like that. So we had a plan. It was a long ball, but it was an effective ball. He could switch it from left to right, and you can work off a diagonal ball, a good long diagonal. The midfield players can run off it. And he normally more than once, just knock it down. We had runners going off him, and it was effective, But also he had great feet as well, Steve Whitten.
Yeah,
he wasn't just a tall target man. He had great feet for a big man, and and it showed on many, many occasions. So we had lots of different options if one way wasn't working,
Yeah.
So, it was great. It's like the whole mechanics of the team just worked.
And another one, a bit like Dave Linnigan, who wasn't shy of ending up in the Blackadder after training, presumably.
Pardon?
He wasn't shy of ending up in the Blackadder with Dave Linnigan after training.
We can't lie, mate. We had a Wednesday club, which we all had to go. If we didn't go, we get fined by the players. So, but that just it doesn't happen anymore. But that was the culture then. We always
that was bonding. That was team bonding.
Yeah. That's what we took it as. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. If you didn't go, you got fined. So
now
Yeah.
You're saying about being able to mix it up. In November, we came across a team called Cambridge United, who had Dion Dublin and Steve Claridge and John Beck. Now, you knew what you were getting when you come up against the Cambridge United team, didn't you? They were sort of our thorn in our side that season.
Yeah. We were properly prepped for that during the week. We just I remember some of his sessions where 10 of us standing there. John Lowell kicked the ball up, and we all had to go for it. We all had to go for it, and there'll be black eyes, there'll be blood everywhere. but he just prepped us for it, He used to just kick the ball up, and we all have to go for it. All the 11 players, whoever shies out, he would dig you out,
Well, I know there's 10 minutes of highlights for the away match in March, and I don't think you see the ball touch the floor barely once.
No, exactly. Well, did they beat us in March?
I think they beat us They beat us at home. We drew away in March.
Yeah. Simon Milton scored, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did in the draw away. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
But there was a bit of a intrigue about them. I think there was over 20,000 come to watch them play. I think it's the first time we may have ever played them in the league. It's sort of a local derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as you were saying about crowds, we had 9,000 for the first match in August and over 20,000 in November to come and see Cambridge because we were starting to click.
Yeah, we're on the march then.
Yeah, well, see, it was November. You say about things clicking.
Yeah.
From the end of November, we went on a run, and
if we could get through November, New Year, around, we would have been happy. But we ended up being top.
Yeah.
So,
we beat Wolves away. We beat Tranmere 4-0 at home, and then at Christmas time, we won 2-0. We beat Blackburn. You scored at home to Blackburn. We were saying about Blackburn, they spent a hell of a lot of money again comparatively.
That was the defining moment for me. That game, right? Okay, we've got a good chance here because they had spent a lot of money. But like I said, we got the result, which made us think actually we've got a really, really good chance here.
Yeah,
if we stick together.
Well, I have it on good authority that you high-fived most of the Pioneer stand after the final whistle that day. I've got
let's have a look at that.
Photos and some.
I think I'm looking at. I think I'm looking at my brother on there. I think
he's on your shoulders probably, or you're on his.
Yeah, he threatened me if I didn't wave. So.
Well, see, the thing is, at that time there was a common theme in all these newspaper reports I've got here. It was sheer poetry. It was classy Ipswich. It was Ipswich stroll to victory. Was that something that was drilled into this attacking football was drilled into us in training?
Yes, intensity was the theme in training. Even like warm-ups and things like that. Some people take their warm-ups maybe on a Friday. They take it easy. Not with us. The five-a-sides were bang on. Tackles going in everywhere. So we just had that. And if you got injured, you got injured. But we weren't gonna let up. The intensity has to be there, or else we would have struggled. Yeah. Be on the front foot. That was his message to us.
Yeah. So we ended the new year, as I say, on a high. Into January, we do the double over Port Vale, but we lost away at Borough. But then you scored as we beat Hartlepool away in a cup replay. And you score in the next round when we beat Bournemouth 3-0 at home, and that sets up a fifth round game. We'll come to that in a second. But you're saying about momentum again. We beat Bristol Rovers, and that's our fourth league win on the trot. Going into February, we score 3 away at Millwall. We beat. This is probably the week you were talking about. We scored 3 away at Millwall. We beat Portsmouth 5-2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and that's. I think that's the third.
That was the week. Yeah.
We scored. We played 3 matches in a week, and it was the third match in a row that you and Chris Gorman both scored in the same matches. You were on fire.
Yeah, I remember the Millwall game. I remember a friend of mine won lots of money. I was 16-1 to score the first goal. He had a tenner on it because I think that was the first game I went up front. So the bookies must have had it. Midfield, hadn't scored that many. Then I went up front and scored. He won a load of money. I remember that game very well. Portsmouth, 4-2, wasn't it?
5-2.
And then Bournemouth. Was that a cup game, was it?
Yeah, 3-0, yeah.
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 So yeah, that was a great time. The confidence was just oozing out of me then. You know, I wouldn't like to say I'm a natural goal scorer, but that week, just everything just went to plan. You know, everything I touched went in, and yeah, and there's nothing better when you've got that confident. There's, you know, especially me. There's not a lot anybody can do if you're that confident, because you're just playing at such a high level. Everything comes off.
Yeah. You
So
don't think about it.
no, it comes instantly. So it was just, yeah, that week was a great week for me. Playing for Ipswich Town.
And so you and both Kiwami both scored, each scored in 3 matches in a row. Your relationship with Chris Kiwami was very much integral, but you were both very, very good mates off the pitch as well, though, weren't you?
Yeah, that helps. I mean, you know, for us, the football didn't stop when we walked out the blue gates from training. That didn't stop there. You know, we was always talking football. Always talking football. If you know, we would be out socialising. We wouldn't stop talking about the game. You know, that was our relationship, and that's how. If this happens, you do this. You know, we got a little beer mats put in as the players, and put, if you're in this position, I'll put it through, and that was what we used to do. You know, and it helped us. And you know, there was relationships all over the pitch, which like the walk, Linnigan was great. Mickey Stockwell, Steve Whitten was great. Obviously, me and Romeo just build up relationships all over. To do that, you have to speak as well outside of football. Just look, talk before the game. Like, if this happens, this scenario happens, this is what's going to happen. And that was the case with a lot of Ipswich players. They had great relationships all over the pitch.
So when did the things sort of just start to, did the realization come through the squad that, hang on a second, we might actually do this? Because as you say about momentum, and from like the end of November, we won 16 of the next 22 matches.
Yeah, for me, Christmas time. I think when we beat Charlton, I think.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And took us top of the league. And I knew then that, with us was the crowd. That's when I thought, if they back us and we're still in this position, come March, then I don't think there's any stopping us.
Yeah.
Because it was too much. The fans were desperate for, after 10 years of not doing anything, for some kind of success. They could see it, we could see it, and it just filtered through, really. And it was, just brilliant for the town.
Well, yeah, and you say about fans again that we'll talk about these cup matches now, then, shall we? Because in the 5th round of the FA Cup, we drew Liverpool, and we drew them at home, and we probably should have beaten them at home. I think Walkie hit the crossbar with a header.
Yes, he did hit the bar.
Yeah,
I remember that day. It was so windy.
It was, yeah.
It was so windy, but we should have beat him, and should have beat him in the next game and all.
Oh, and so you're saying about fans, because it was the biggest home crowd since we'd actually built the Pioneer stand that day on that Sunday. Yeah, according to the scrapbook, it was. So obviously, as you say about the fans' perspective, people were getting interested in it now. There was more confidence that things might happen. But taking the first match aside, the away match, what were your memories of that away match? So it was on Sky, so I think that added a bit to it as well, didn't it? Obviously, had you ever played at Anfield before?
Had I played there before? Oh no, I went to watch Ipswich there once when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and I was mesmerised by it then. I think that was the first time. I played there before. Yeah, sorry, I played there when I was 17 in the League Cup game. Yeah, when I was very young. Sorry, and we got smashed 3-0. It was the likes of Terry Butcher, I don't know if Paul Mariner played, but that kind of team played.
Yeah.
When I was really young, so that wasn't the first time. But it wasn't a great experience, obviously, because it was like we just got battered. They were so good.
We didn't get battered in this match, did we?
No.
Drawing at full time, and then you pop up in front. You pop up in front of the Kop.
I didn't have time to really enjoy it, mate. I thought that was it. The next minute, Mulvey's hit that free kick, and then obviously thought that was going to be the winner. But top class sides with top class players, that can happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's the difference between the top league and the ones below.
Yeah, that's right. But I think in terms of standing in the away end that day, I think my brother picked me up in his mini metro at lunchtime from school, and we sort of made our way up to Anfield. But
Yeah,
the kids nowadays, talk about limbs in the away end. My God, I think when you scored your goal and when Gavin Johnson
yeah.
scored his header,
I know.
the atmosphere in that away end. I'm sure
Yeah.
your
No,
mates and your brother were telling you about that.
yeah. I mean, they took the whole end, didn't they?
Yeah.
Ipswich Town. It would have been great if that had been the winner. I mean, the celebrations after would have been incredible. But yeah, I mean, straight after they get which wasn't a free kick, by the way. I remember it vividly. Free kick on the edge of the box, never a free kick. But yeah, Mulvey, Craig Forrest didn't even move. Then they go and get the.
He couldn't have placed that any better if he'd have picked it up and put it there with his hand, had he?
Yeah, that was just unsavable, right in the stanchion. So yeah, but I'm looking at my celebrations after that. I think I lost it a little bit.
You didn't quite know what to do with yourself, did you?
No, I didn't, mate. No, I didn't. No, at the cop end as well.
Yeah.
I so wish that was a winner. To this day, I so wish that was a winner. Just to see for the fans, really, what that would have meant to them on that night. Travel all that way to get a result like that, it would have been great.
But it must have done a lot for the confidence of the team that you've stood toe to toe with Liverpool here. It was on Sky. Yeah. There's more media exposure and things like that. There's more interest presumably around the club. But for the team and morale at that point.
But on the Saturday, I think we played Plymouth at home.
We did.
We were awful, but we won 1-0.
So I got here. Yeah, you're right. We won 2-0 at 2-0 against them when we won. We had a bit of a stuttering month in March.
Yeah, I think we got beat at Bristol, didn't we? Once 4-0, did we?
Well, we got beaten. We beat Watford away. Then we played Watford again, and we'd lost at home to Watford. But between times, I think.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, we beat Derby 2-1. You scored 2 goals against Derby in front of the North Stand, and that's when we started to just go top of the league, and things were just starting to fall into place a little bit there.
Right, yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, of course. So desperately wanted a hat trick. I had a chance for a hat trick and all, but I missed it. Yeah, 2 early goals. George Williams was playing that day. We signed him the next year, didn't we?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he would have done, wouldn't he? Play for them.
Yeah. He remembers that game very well. That was one of my best games for Ipswich. 2 goals early on, and I was just pretty in the form of my life, really.
Yeah, 2 in the first quarter of an hour you scored, and then the next match, Chris Kiwami scored 2 against Barnsley, which he's probably more than happy with doing, being from up that.
He loves all that. Yeah.
Now, I was saying about what also happened in that Barnsley match was David Linningham got carried off. And he didn't play again for the rest of the season.
No, I know. Yeah.
And who was made captain of the team for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I know. That's not mentioned enough. I've got captain material written all over me. Yeah, I took him up. That's right. Yeah. Every players reunion, I let David Linningham know that.
Dragged us up into the Premier League, kicking and screaming. It must have been at such an important time of the season. It must have been a hell of an honour to be, given that.
I mean, I thought he would give it to Walkie or someone like that. So I was pretty surprised.
Yeah.
That he gave it to me, honestly. But it was such an honour for me. Not only that, for me, I'm representing my hometown club. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit different. I'm representing everybody from Ipswich, my family and everybody, and the years of going to watch Ipswich FA Cup final, and then standing on the terraces at 12, 13, thinking one day I'll be, 12, 13, 3 years time you'll be playing for Ipswich. Not only, but a few years after that you'll be captain. You couldn't have made it up, really.
Yeah. Well, it probably wasn't one of the reasons why he was giving it. You were giving it. It's purely for that reason. No.
He saw something.
Yeah.
He saw something. I don't think I would have got it under anyone else. I saw something like Prima. I wasn't a shower or anything like that. Yeah. But he saw something. So, maybe give it to him. He's playing it. He's playing really well. Give it to him and see what happens. And Yeah, playing with the armband for Ipswich was, one of the highlights of my career, to be honest with you.
Brilliant.
It's a skinny little boy from Elliott Street. Lived 800 yards from the North Stand. Captain's Ipswich Town. Yeah, it's just a great story, really.
Wonderful. Brilliant stuff. We were saying about that. We were talking about the makeup of the team as well, and the experienced players that were dotted around, and the more less highlighted players, should we say? Because during the course of that entire season, we had different player of the month every month. It was Kiwomir, it was yourself, it was Zondervan, Witten, Milton, Linnigan. Every month was a different person.
That says it all. That says it all. That says it all. It just mixed it up all over the pitch. Got played. Mickey Stockwell, Gavin Johnson, players like that who don't get the credit that they deserve, but the players respected them. Without them, we wouldn't have gone up. It took a collective effort, not individual effort, for us to get over the line. Everybody played their part.
So we're into the crux of the season, April time, and there were three games in April that stand out. There was Southend away, there was Wolves at home and Newcastle at home. But that Southend away match was a crazy. You were talking about taking thousands of fans to away matches. There were people hanging off of catering vans. There were people standing at the top of the fences. There were people everywhere that match.
It was like a Rangers game in Scotland when they fill three stands. It was like that. I remember that. It was all down the side, all around the back, and Neil Thompson gets that iconic goal. So we're definitely got the feeling now. This is our time.
And
definitely after that. Phil
Whelan had come in to cover for Linnigan, hadn't he, and popped up with his goal on his debut.
Yeah, what a great header. Yeah. Again, no player playing the part. Like I said, it was no individual got us over the line. It was a collective effort by everybody. Everybody bought into the idea of the John Lyle way. If you don't run or you don't tackle, you don't do this, you won't be playing. So that was the message to the players.
And we played Wolves at home during the week, and again Whelan scored, and it was another late winner. Steve Witten scored a penalty in pretty much the last minute. So we'd had an 89th minute winner at Southend, followed by a 90th minute winner to Wolves. We'd came from behind twice. You said earlier about beating Newcastle.
Yeah, that's not luck. That's just drilled into you. You see, Liverpool done it last year. Last minute winners. That's not luck. You just programmed in to just keep going. Especially when your confidence is that high, even more so. So that was always been the message from John to us. You keep going to the end. You make your own luck in this world.
And the thing is, and by that point, as you say about the crowd were fully on board then, and the whole momentum thing, which is, it just goes to show what you can do when everyone's singing from the same song sheets. Funny old phrase, but
like I said, I was blessed to be brought up in the 70s, 80s, watching Ipswich Town as a kid. I was blessed. And just one of them feelings in them days, you walk to the ground, we're going to win today. Can't explain to people what that feeling is. But that was such how they made, at that time, they could beat anybody. And, and they were beating everybody. Should have won the league on many occasions.
Yeah.
During that time. And I used to go down to the ground, be the first one in the ground, count the crowd come in one at a time, and just wait for the match and travel away. So I knew the amount of support Ipswich had, even in them days, was if Ipswich Town are winning, they have got a superb backing. I just feel, like I said, it's been even longer now, the last 20 odd years. We have missed a generation of fans who've seen anything. And they are pretty much starved. So, obviously we'll go back to this year. We quickly need something. A promotion or whatever. They need that. They deserve that.
They do something to cheer.
They have been pretty much starved of any kind of success or good feeling about their football club for a long time. But to go back to my point, the Southend Wolves game. The crowd it was incredible just to turn up, even before you got to the ground, to see the fans. It was incredible. And and it gave you so much confidence that they're backing us now, and we've got to do this together.
Yeah. Well, after that Newcastle match, we were 10 points clear of third.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a jitter in April time. I think we lost 2 on the trot. We lost away to Sunderland. We lost 2-1 away to Bristol City. But then I think it must have been Middlesbrough that were around near us. They weren't, pulling up many trees either. So our next home match to Grimsby Town on a Tuesday night, there were 23,000 people at home to Grimsby, and if we'd have won, we'd have won the league.
Yeah.
And you hit the post in the 89th minute.
Yeah, I know. I remember that. I remember that. My luck weren't in that day. I would have loved to be the person who got him up with that goal. Personally, I would have loved to have that gone in and got us up. Like I say, being captain, being a hometown boy, it would have meant so much to me.
As it was, we needed to wait another 4 days and go to Oxford and do it there instead.
Yeah. And
the match itself wasn't, particularly memorable, was it?
It was. We played a little bit of nerves, expectation, how we was going to do it, but we quickly went 1-0 behind by Jim and Jill scored, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So a little bit edgy, and then we got Gavin Johnson got a goal, so that calmed us down, and we saw it through. But we would have got there. We still had another game or so to go.
Yeah, we did.
We would have got over the line, but we didn't care about that, so that was all good.
What are your memories of the celebrations? You were carried off the pitch, obviously, on the shoulders of the fans. And
yeah, my brother was there.
Yeah, of course.
All his man. He was a staunch Ipswich fan at the time. So he ran onto the pitch as normal.
TV cameras in the changing rooms and all sorts afterwards.
Yeah. It was just a great moment. Like I said, it's not Wembley or anything like that. Which the other team got promoted, but this, nothing was expected of us beginning of the season. To go out and win it with a game or game and a half to spare was such a big achievement. And like I say, this phone call's all about that. And I've been quiet on this. I didn't want to say anything, so I didn't want to. But I do feel there's not enough the credit has not been done compared to the Wembley team. But hey ho. No problem with that, really.
Yeah. Well, as just going to skip forward to one of the questions I was going to ask you at the end, actually, that with all the hullabaloo that surrounds that playoff feature, and you can see why, it was build up over 2 or 3 or 4 years, wasn't it? And, eventually happened. Would you have preferred finishing top with a winner's medal or a Wembley win? Or no, a Wembley playoff chance to...
Oh, mate, listen, that is exciting. Don't get me wrong. I can't lie. I was at the game at Wembley and it was incredible. But we were champions.
Yeah.
You tell your kids about that in 20 years' time. They won't know the difference. We were champions, got the medal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everyone wants to play at Wembley, but, you're finishing in the top 6. We finished top. So for me, winning how we won it was better, to be honest with you. Not as exciting, but better.
Yeah. So in terms of the celebrations, then was it all back to the Blackadder after the Oxford match and the Brighton match?
How did you know?
I heard about it. I wasn't old enough to drink, but I've got close personal friends who may or may not have been around at the time.
I still haven't paid my tab yet. I don't think.
I think Alan Brazil's got enough money not to worry about it now.
Yeah. We all went back in there, and it was mayhem in there. Mayhem, dancing on tables and falling off tables, and it was it was one of the best days of my life. That as well. Coming back, seeing all the fans coming back from Oxford on the way. It was great day.
So we wrapped stuff up at home to Brighton. A bit of a coronation, really, wasn't it? There was 27,000 people there to watch it happen. Now there's the excitement about going into the first Premier League season, and I've got it written down here. Promotion was worth £1.25 million.
So yeah,
things are slightly different nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah. Go on, mate. What was it 160 now? 160 mil.
Yeah, that's nearly,
Yeah,
nearly that finishing bottom of it. But
yeah.
was there any additional excitement about this Premier League that no one had really heard of? Well, it was the first Premier League season that we were going into. Was there much of an additional buzz around the players? Were they really aware of what it was or what it could have become?
We wouldn't have known. We didn't know what it was going to be like at the time. It's exciting, but still didn't know what it was going to be like. And we went on a hell of a run in that year up until January. I think we were fourth or something like that in January, but nearly went down because we couldn't win another game after that. Couldn't buy a win. Got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup and the League Cup.
Quarterfinals of both, yeah.
Got beat by Arsenal in one of them, and we couldn't buy another win. It wasn't until about the 3 games from the end we played Norwich. That kept us up.
We'll go to that in our volume 2 chat, Jason. Yeah.
All right.
So, in terms of the season, the promotion season, obviously Liverpool away, Southend away were probably be in my top 5 matches of all time. Being an Ipswich fan, to be fair.
Which one's away? Who did you say?
Liverpool and Southend.
Yeah.
Just for the atmosphere, the crowd, the feeling around the club and the excitement that we might actually be doing something. And the Southend one certainly is that last minute or 89th minute winner.
Definitely.
What about yourself? Any games that stick out which wouldn't have been an obvious choice?
Obviously, doing a double over Norwich that year.
So you're saying about I'm going about the promotion season, but you were saying about Charlton around Christmas. That was sort of one that stuck out for yourself, giving us a bit of momentum to go up.
Blackburn.
Yeah.
Blackburn, definitely.
Doing the double over them, yeah.
The 2 games were Blackburn and Newcastle for me. Yeah, they were the 2 games which stands out. Southend obviously as well. So they were the for 3 games for me, which stood out in that year, for obvious reasons. Yeah.
Given your achievements in football, subsequently, you moved to Spurs and bits and pieces like that. Where does this season rank when you look back? Oh, you played Premier League football for years, but where does this season rank? You're saying about scoring goals. You played 54 matches that season and scored 16 goals.
Yeah. That's my best return by some distance, really. That was the form of my life. I mean, I had good games here and there. My thing was I played better against the better teams for some, especially when I went into the Prem. The Man United, I would play at my best. Now, whether that's telling yourself and prepping yourself even more. But that was the case. The Liverpool's, Man United's always played my best against the big teams.
Well, I'm talking about, just going back to the Portsmouth match here. I've got a little clip in my scrapbook. It says here, star man was Jason Dozzell. The new midfield pass master is heading Ipswich back towards the big time. Just in case the England manager is reading this, Ipswich's telephone number is 0473 219 211. So, you're getting notes, even in what was the second division.
Oh, yeah, definitely. My performances were such for people to take note. Do you know what I mean? Around that time, I think we played Tranmere in the FA Cup as well. Was that the year? Or was that? No, it's in the Premier League. We played them.
League on it.
That was the next year. I mean, Division 1, I was getting a lot of people talking about me. So it was, it's just all good, really. That year, I have to say that, for actually being on top of my game, that would be the year, definitely.
Brilliant stuff. Well, I've wasted enough of your time, Jason. I think we'll cut it there. But I say many thanks. It's been an absolute pleasure.